What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Put your hands on me. You have to get your ass right now. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. Yeah, now you about to get beat the fuck up. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. What's that?
You don't touch my property.
I don't give a fuck, bitch.
You don't buy it.
I don't give a fuck.
I bought it. I worked hard for it.
You're not in the middle of nowhere.
So
what's that? Hell no.
Go.
Bitch ass
Sit it like this.
Pick us out in the middle of the fucking thing. Are you stupid? I really have to like do something.
I told you to get out in the gas station. You didn't.
My boyfriend taught me, don't let nobody play with you, smack the fuck out them. That's what I was taught. So if y'all boyfriends told y'all to let this Uber, let y'all get out the car and get robbed or whatever the fuck would have happened, and that's on y'all. Hell no. And he lucky as hell I ain't have nothing on me on mamas, because if he would have played with me, bruh, it would have been a whole different story. For real, you not about to kick me out on the freeway. Everybody I know, 75% of people I know would have smacked the shit out of him or done some crazy ass off the wall shit. All I did was take his mask off and cough a little bit, but I ain't even have corona. So at the end of the day, okay, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was disrespectful as fuck. I'm dead ass wrong for that, but it could have been avoided. Period, point blank. It could have been avoided. You could have just waited and made sure we was safe. If you would have made sure y'all passed this fucking stupid ass Uber, bruh, on mamas. That's why I take Lyft. That's why I take Lyft. That's why I take Lyft. I'm finna sue Uber for it. They seen the whole video, so they know they dead ass wrong. So where my check at? Where's my check?
I hate her. I don't know her, but I hate her. Hate's a strong word. So allow me to say it again. I hate her. Yeah, no one, not even for a second, believes that if you were dropped off in the wrong neighborhood, that you and your posse of coyotes would have been in danger. And clearly the driver was saying, hey, I was willing to drop you off at a gas station. You didn't want to do that. And she has the nerve to say, oh, I'm going to be taking Lyft from now on, or that's why I take Lyft. Lyft responded. Lyft is like, no, we banned her account. We want nothing to do with her.
Do you know does it say where she's from? I know this happened in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. But do you know if they're from San Francisco?
I'm not sure.
No. Did it say that? I'm trying to figure out if her mom or her dad is the black person in her family.
Yeah, I'm curious there too.
I'm curious. Is one of them must be the way she's talking. The way she's talking, she has a thick accent. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of slang is coming out of her mouth. She's very gangster.
Oh, mamas.
Yeah.
Oh, mamas.
Blueface talk. Oh, mama. You know what I mean? So she's clearly very gangster. She's clearly led a very difficult life, a hard knock life, as Jay-Z would once say. You know what I mean? But for you to step into the car and for somebody simply to ask you a question, I'm still trying to see where the disrespect lies. I don't know how he asked her to put on the mask, but I'm assuming based on the video that I seen and Homeboy's temperament, he doesn't seem like he's one of those people who came on too aggressive to start off with. Like, You know what I mean? It seemed like he probably just asked her, just can you put a mask on? You gotta have a mask, or you gotta have a mask on to be in here, because anybody who uses these apps knows that right now you have to wear a mask if you are taking Uber or Lyft. It's one of the requirements for anybody who's ever taken these things.
Here's the thing. What if she would have had the blicky with the stiffia? Then what? Now, let's be honest. I'm not trying to say that she wouldn't use the blicky with the stiffia. I'm just saying, this is clearly somebody that would do what? Shoot someone because they told them to wear a mask, which you knew you had to wear a mask when you went on that app? People like this should not be walking the streets, yo. I see a lot of, and you've seen it too, Dre, but I see a lot of like tapes where people get canceled, they lose their jobs and stuff like that because of how they, the Karens of the world, because of how they react to black people, and when we pull out the cell phone and we catch them on tape and they get fired and stuff like that. This girl, she needs to get fired. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. She attacked the guy, and on top of that, she threatened violence. If I would have had to... How can I let you in my establishment now? Like, if I'm your employer, right? And you have to come into my office to work, or wherever it is, or warehouse, nail salon, whatever. And obviously, I have a requirement because I'm a business and I don't want to get fined. The fines are huge, that you have to wear a mask. That's where, you have to wear a mask. So you're reacting like this because you didn't want to wear a mask. And you're saying now on your live, if I had the ting, it could have got worse. I can't trust you to come into my office now or my workplace now.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a solid point, man.
Viewing public, what are your thoughts here? Was she right? Was she wrong? She's dead wrong. You know that. But hey, if you want to speak to anything other than the fact that she was obviously wrong, obviously rude, very disrespectful, if you want to speak to anything, do you think you should have to wear a mask to go into an Uber? Do you think you should have to wear a mask to go into a grocery store? Any of these other facilities that require that you wear? What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And Two Guys Doing a Podcast. Deuces. She said all mamas. How many moms does she have?
So I think that we need to all take a step back. And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program. A number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
So, do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my...
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour. I'm sorry, but Piers spouts off on a regular basis, and we all have to sit there and listen. 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch.
I think people should be allowed to have their own opinion. Piers, I guess, went off, right, talking about Meghan's interview with Oprah. But I watched the what he said, what Piers was saying, and it was respectful. And to be clear, he made two very, very key points. First point is that people were concerned about how dark the baby would be, right? People were upset about that. Mm-hmm. And he says what they did was irresponsible, not because they exposed it, not because they told people that, but because they didn't say who it was. So that's irresponsible. If you're going to make a claim like that, say who the person is. They didn't do that. So that's one. And then the second thing, they said that, hey, because the baby is black, that the baby's never going to be a prince. And that was factually incorrect. There's no speculation. There's no, maybe it did. No, that's incorrect, because anything about the monarchy, they follow it to the T, the law to the T. And what the law is the baby's too young to even be considered a prince, to even have that conversation. So that is actually just incorrect. So what Piers was saying is, when you couple the first part of it, where you left it open for speculation, you didn't name who the racist was, and then you mentioned something that was just factually incorrect, that was irresponsible. Yeah. So he spoke to those 2 points. Of course he was emotional, but he was also respectful. So I say all that to say, cool, he invites the brother on the very next day, and they have a heated exchange. Again, very respectful, but it lasted like 15 minutes, and then he walked off. And
quit the show.
He quit the show. And you know why? Not just because of the exchange, but because when he was giving his POV, his opinion, 40,000 people were calling for his job, just because he was giving his point of view. And this is the thing. Everybody is for freedom of speech. Everybody believes you should be able to speak your mind respectfully, and he was being respectful. But the problem is, and this is the thing, you cannot have it both ways. If you believe in freedom of speech, it's freedom of speech, period. But people were calling for his job because he was going against the popular opinion. So that's my issue. That's my problem. But when they're against it, when they disagree with what you're saying, no, you can't say stuff like that. You can't, how dare you? This person should be fired. That's crazy. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to have my own opinion as long as I'm being respectful.
I think what you're ignoring is Piers Morgan, the man, before all of this happened. All right, Piers Morgan, let's just be straight up and down about it, is a racist. He can sit there and deny it all you want. In fact, I believe he said these words, "There is not a racist bone in my body."
Yeah, he said that.
And I know from experience that anybody that says those words is a racist. Because everybody has a racist bone in their body. Every single person. Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin. Black people do it to other black people all the time. White people do it to white people all the time. It happens all the time. So when people go overboard to prove that they're not a racist, that's when I have a problem. He took it upon himself to have to find a way to make what Meghan Markle was saying not as serious, not seem as serious, and make it almost seem like she was trying to put forth a bunch of lies to portray an image. You can pick and choose what you want to argue in the argument, but you can't ignore the overall argument of what she's saying.
Which is?
It cannot. They're racist. The royal family is racist. That's what she's saying overall. Mm-hmm. And it was difficult for her to be a black woman living in that house. That was the overall statement that I got from the interview. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't addressed at all. He tried to play it off like, oh, it's Archie this, and who gives a fuck? Who cares about that little part? Piers Morgan, do your thing, but do it on a different channel, bro. Sometimes you gotta let people slide. I don't know what to say there.
Well, look, man. Did he ignore what Meghan's original, or I guess actual plight was? The fact that she had to deal with racism. Apparently she had suicidal thoughts as well. Look, if I come off callous, I apologize for that, because nobody should have to go through that. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Man or woman, doesn't matter what nationality you are, black, white, like, you shouldn't have to deal with that, especially when it comes to the family of the person that you love, let alone have a child with. You should not have to go through that. Meghan Markle doing this interview with Oprah, talking about there's racism in the family, and Oprah's reaction, what? You don't say. So shocked, so surprised. Knock it off.
Oprah's a professional.
Hold on. I have to say this.
She knows what to do on TV.
I have to say this. And you're right, she doesn't know what to do. But Oprah was not surprised. No one was surprised. Everybody knows that there is racism in that family. Just look at the family. Just look at there has never been no black people, no nothing in that the family. Like, I'm not saying the entire family's racist. I'm not saying that, but there's clearly some racism in that family. You need to know that if you get into that family, you're going to be dealing with racism. Because if you don't know that, you're an idiot. So
but there's a difference between speculation and confirmation.
No, I'm not. Hold on. Let me make my point. You
can sit there and assume all day, bro.
No, I don't have to assume.
You can sit there and you can assume. You don't
over 100, Dre. Over 100 years. Over 100.
Doesn't matter. There's tons of African tribes that probably have never had a white person in their family.
Yeah, for a reason. So, Meghan exposing all this stuff was not a shocker. No one was surprised about this. So the reason why I say all that is because that's why I don't feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for her that she had to actually go through it. You would hope that, hey, you know what, I'm having a kid with your, you know what I mean? But no, I'm not surprised. And furthermore, two regular people. One person works at a call center and one person works at Tim Hortons. But they're biracial. They could be black or white. They could be Indian or Jewish, whatever.
Right.
They go through it. They have a kid. Maybe somebody on the mom's side isn't too happy about it. Maybe somebody on the dad's side isn't too happy about it. You know what happens? The same thing that happened with these two. Either the dad is gonna have to choose between their family and their wife and kid, or and the mom and kid, or the mom is gonna have to choose between their family and the dad and kid. The same thing's gonna happen. The same thing is gonna happen. But guess what? You know what the difference is, Dre? Millions of dollars isn't rewarded to that person. There's no fame. There's no life on easy street. No, but the same thing will happen. So this is why I don't feel bad that's why I don't feel bad. Because this happens all the time. I feel bad because she had to go through it, because I feel bad for anyone that has to go through it, but I don't. You knew this. Like, I don't understand. Like, you knew this. So why are you so surprised? Like, knock it off, man. And then and Piers, like you said, you think he's racist, right? But I mean,
I don't think he's racist. I know Piers Morgan is racist.
Okay, boom, there you go. So hold on for a second. So
he said multiple things.
Okay, so hold on for a second. So you know Piers is racist because of some things that he said. I don't know if you watch that show on a regular basis for you to build up enough.
Not that show. No, not that show. He's had other shows. He's been on other.
Okay, fine, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, you were literally just said a moment ago that, you know, African tribes not having white people, because my point was the monarchy definitely has racism in it because it's over 100 years, no black people, and that's why I think. And you said no, African tribes. So wait a second. So the monarchy definitely isn't racist because over 100 years of actual action, but Piers is definitely racist because of some things that you've interpreted based on what he said. That does not match up. That's very off balance.
Honestly, I don't have any quotes here. I wish I did have some prepared, but trust me when I say I'm not speculating anything, and I'm not interpreting words or anything like that.
So then,
except for what I said. Obviously, what I said earlier on with what he said during this current video that you sent to me, where he goes, "I don't have a racist bone in my body." That's me interpreting, but that is me interpreting based on experience.
Well, what I'm saying is you making that interpretation based off of things that Piers have said. Fine, you're allowed to do that. Just like anybody else looking at the monarchy is allowed to interpret. And believe me, there are many people that there is racism in that family. Same way you can make your interpretation, we are entitled to make that interpretation as well. And I'm not alone on that.
Yeah, well, let me clarify something else though. The reason that I liken the monarchy to an African tribe is because when you have an African tribe, and it's just as simple as this: when you have an African tribe, there's just a model for what they visualize should be part of the royal family. If there's a royal family of anything, that royal family has control over what they visualize should be their lineage, right? So whether it's an African tribe, whether it's the Chinese mafia, whether it's the monarchy, the only reason we care so much about this family is because it's the royal family and they're bigger in the media and all of this stuff. This type of stuff happens everywhere. It doesn't say that you're racist, though. I don't think it's because they're racist. I think it's just because these royal families just want to keep it. Just like how there's certain black families, and I don't know how else to liken it, but there's certain black families that just say, you know, you have a grandfather who just says, you know, I want to keep the black side of our family going on and going on and going on. I want to maintain that throughout the generation because that's a strong part of our heritage. So if you mix, eventually that's going to go away. And some people feel like that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? They want to maintain a certain part of their lineage. And that's usually all it comes down to. That's a loose way of explaining it, but That's the way that I liken it to. That's why I likened it to an African tribe and say that it doesn't necessarily mean that they're racist. They could be. This is me once again speculating. They probably are, but that's not what it means. It just means that's just how they want.
Trey, that's racist. Because if you, I understand the point that you're trying to make. You care about the bloodline in your family. I get that. You want everybody. Listen to what you're saying. I care about the bloodline in my family. I want everybody in my family to look a certain way. So guess what? If you fall in love with somebody who doesn't look like us, it's not happening. Because they don't look like us. Because they don't look like us, it's racist. It's based on your skin color. That is racist.
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin. It's based on your knowledge of the culture. It's based on your family. It's based on your heritage. I think the only reason we take it so personal and want to make it about race, because it's really about the family making a decision for their own fucking family. I'm making a decision for my own fucking family. Why do you care what decision I want to make for my own fucking family? It's my family. You go do what you want with your family. You know what I mean? If it's blatant and it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
The reason why a lot of people care so much is because the other point that Piers was making, which is a great point, is because there's two people that it could possibly, and I don't know their names because I don't give a shit about the royal family, but there's two people that it could possibly be that made the comment about let's hope that the baby isn't so dark, and one of them is a potential king. The issue with not naming who that person is what if that person becomes the king? Piers literally said, and this kind of goes without saying, you can't have a racist king, which is why you need to name who that person is so they can be ostracized or dealt with accordingly. Right?
Perfect.
So
well then how okay, so Piers goes that you don't want to have a racist king. And you're here sitting here telling me that everybody already knows that the family's racist.
No, that's not what I said.
So we've already had a racist. We've already had a racist.
That's not what I said.
Or a racist.
That's not what I said.
King.
That's not what I said.
Right?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. What I said is everybody knows there's racism in that family. I didn't say that the whole family was racist. I said everybody knows there's racism in that family. Piers should be allowed to speak his POV, whether you like it or not. He should be allowed to have it because there's a thing called freedom of speech, and we all allowed to say whatever we want within reason, as long as it's not hate speech or inciting violence. We are allowed to say whatever we want, and you should not be penalized because you are going against the popular opinion, right?
He did choose to walk off himself, though.
Yeah, he did, of course.
I don't think they were going to fire him.
Meghan Markle, I do feel bad that she went through what she went through. Like I said before, nobody should have to go through it. But you would be naive to think that you would be going into that family, and despite what they may have said to you, oh, you're gonna be okay, we got your, despite any of that, you would have to be naive to think that you are not gonna face racism in that world, dealing with that family. I will say that. But hey, my opinion. Dre has stated his. He believes Piers is racist, but there is zero racism in the royal family.
See, that's unfair when you say stuff like that, because I never said that.
But you did say that.
I didn't say that there's zero racism in the family. That's not what I said.
I'm going to, this part here specifically, I'm going to go out of my way and edit it. I'm going to go out of my way and edit it.
You said that you didn't say that the royal family is racist, but you're sitting there saying that you have to be subtle or naive to believe that there's not racism in the family. That's saying that the family is racist, Chris. It's the same shit.
No, it's not.
It's the same shit.
It is not.
You saying there's racism in the family is saying the family is racist. That's the same thing.
It is not.
I don't get how you don't see that, but okay.
It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. If I say that the entire family is racist, that's what I'm saying.
I never said that you said the entire family is racist.
Right. But what I'm saying is there's a very clear difference for me saying the entire family is racist versus racism in that family. That's like that's like me saying, hey Dre, do you know that there's some bad cops? Am I saying that all police officers are bad? I'm saying no, there's some bad cops. I don't understand how you can't see the distinction between the two.
Right, but there's a difference between speculation and then you have to know who. You don't know who is racist, who is not racist. It could be, if it's somebody on the lower end of the family, who gives a fuck? If it's somebody on the higher end of the family, then it might be more important. But all of these things that you're talking about right now are speculation. You can speculate it, but she confirmed it, is what I'm saying, and that's what made it so big. Meghan Markle confirmed this. I don't even know that.
All I'm saying is I'm intelligent enough. I didn't need Meghan to confirm this.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And I'm not the only person that feels that way. I'm not.
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin.
So I'll leave it at that. But viewing public, what are your thoughts here? Do you think that Piers went overboard?
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin.
Right? Do you believe that he should have said what he said?
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin.
Do you think he should have walked off?
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin.
Do you think prior to Meghan Markle confirming that there is racism in that family, did you know deep down in your heart and soul that there is racism in that family somewhere, whether it be on the lowest possible level to the highest? Did you ever think that there was racism in that family?
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin.
Leave it in the comments.
Racism is discrimination based on the color of somebody's skin.
This is going to be interesting. Two guys doing a podcast deuces. So people are suing the Canadian government for their mandatory hotel stays.
Yeah, people aren't happy. People aren't happy with having to pay when they come back from vacation, because they say that there are compassionate reasons as to why, such as like funerals. Well, I'm guessing it's mainly funerals, because what else? What other compassionate reason? Or family member may be dying or something like that, so you want to go take care of them. There might be nobody there to take care of them, type of vibe. So they're saying that there's compassionate reasons and that they shouldn't have to pay the quarantine fee upon their return, because, come on, you got to have a heart, Ontario. You know, so that is the argument that's being made.
But as far as the compassionate reasons, I think that there should be some lenience on that. I think you'd have to provide proof of, the funeral, death certificate, and all that, and all those things. And if you can provide those things, well, then I think it should be comped. I mean, like, shit, man. Like, it's not like somebody could die twice. You can't miss one person's funeral and then, go to the funeral later on again. Like, it's a one-time thing.
Let me give you a scenario. Hopefully somebody from the Ontario government watches this video. So I am at my house and I live in Toronto, right? Let's say I have a grandfather who is in Jamaica and it's just him and housekeepers, right? I send money back from where I do. I work up here and I send money back. That's how he gets to pay the bills and everything like that. Now, he dies and a funeral has to be held, and there's nobody in Jamaica that can plan the funeral and organize the funeral and get all the arrangements together, because it's just him and some housekeepers. But a funeral has to go down. This is my grandfather or my father or whatever you want to put it in scenario. Explain to me how I'm supposed to organize that, being the person who takes care of him from afar. Nobody else is really looking to do that too seriously. They're willing to go to the funeral, but they're not willing to organize it because they might not have the money for it, right? I have the money for it. How am I supposed to organize that from that distance away? That is a reason I can see somebody being able to go and travel somewhere, and especially travel somewhere. I make that argument because people might say, these people are going away for like a week at a time, and that might be too long. We should only make it a day or two. You know what I mean? I've heard those arguments, so I wanted to knock that too with the same argument. Well, that could explain somebody going away. And of course you have to provide proof with what you're saying. You have to provide proof, but we have to allow these circumstances to exist first, and they don't even allow a situation like that.
I totally agree 100%. For compassionate reasons you should not have to pay. But for the people suing the government, I don't know what y'all smoking, man. Like, y'all need to put that down, leave it alone. You're better off to start a GoFundMe to get that money back, because it's not happening. You are.
I don't know why they're suing for money. They should have just tried to get them to change the law or something. But everybody wants money, so you know how it goes.
So then start a GoFundMe. Listen, man, I hope this needs to look. If the Gorilla Glue girl could start a GoFundMe and raise thousands of dollars, y'all could be. This is Canada after all. You know
she
what
got
I mean?
boob job money. This girl got boob job money. Yeah.
Start a GoFundMe, man. This is not going to be successful. But viewing public, what do you think, man? Do you think that you should have to pay to stay at these mandatory hotels, period, at all? In addition to that, of course, to the point that we've been making, for if you travel for compassionate reasons, do you think that you should have to pay? Right? So do you think you should have to pay at all, even if it's just you're going on vacay for, for play, for sun and drinks?
Go on vacation.
Do you think you should have to pay when you come back? I think you should. But if you're, again, leaving for compassionate reasons, do you think you should have to pay when you come back? I think you shouldn't. Do you think these people will be successful in their lawsuit? No. Let me answer for you. No. But if they started a GoFundMe, would you contribute to their GoFundMe? I wouldn't, but that's me, right?
Because they're trying to get money. Why am I giving them money to get money? No, we don't play those games.
All right, man. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, deuces. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. Don't forget to like and comment. We finally hit our goal of 100 subscribers.
No, we're not done yet, though, Chris, man. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers, okay? So check out these videos over here, and make sure you press this button, man. Thank you for the 100. Let's get to 2.
Doses.